This is a HeadGum podcast.
Folks, it's time to get Quip. Me and Joe do it. It makes toothbrushing easy. Brushing your teeth, just like making love. The kind of thing you don't really know if you're doing it right till you start doing it right. And folks, Quip is brushing done right. It's the new electric toothbrush that packs just the right amount of vibrations into a slimmer design at a fraction of the cost of bulkier traditional electric brushes. It has guiding pulses that alert you when to switch sides, making brushing just the right amount of effortless. It's true, you really don't have to think about it. It lets you know when to move on to another quadrant of your mouth. Quip also comes with a mount that suctions right to your mirror and unsticks to use as a cover for hygienic travel anywhere, whether it's going in your gym bag or your carry-on. And because the thing that cleans your mouth should also be clean, Quip's subscription plan, or subquiption plan, surprised I didn't think of that, I'll have to let them know, refreshes your brush on a dentist-recommended schedule. They deliver new brush heads every 3 months for just $5, including free shipping worldwide. Quip's backed by a network of over 10,000 dental professionals, including dentists, hygienists, and dental students. Most toothbrushes don't get named one of Time Magazine's best inventions of the year, but Quip did. It's time to find out for yourself why. Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/CU right now, you'll get your first refill pack free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/CU. GETQUIP.com/CU. Folks, it's going to be love at first brush. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of We'll See You in Hell. Anyway, I guess it's time to get on with the show, and in doing so, on with a Joe.
Now, I'll tell you, folks, that was the best one of the day, and it was the third one because this...
That was more controlled. It was a more controlled vocal performance.
This fucking horror equipment that I have keeps fucking up. And but anyway,
this is like our fourth time restarting the podcast. The previous two, I would say, were more raw emotionally, but they were a little pitchy, dog. I got to be honest.
Little pitchy dog.
That one was just beautiful. I think we can all agree.
All right, let's just get into this movie. We're doing the Babadook. It's on Netflix. Pause if you need to get it set up if you want to do this with us.
We're at 133:45.
Something like that. 46.
46.
So literally right at the beginning. Let's do a 1, 2, 3, play. 1, 2, 3, play.
play.
All right. The movie is going.
IFC the Babadook. Dook, Babadook, 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 a dook, a dook.
What was that song originally?
Shoopy-doo.
Oh,
Salt
yeah.
and Pep.
Shoop by the Salt and the Pep.
Shoop was number one on the Hot 9 at 9 in St. Louis for a record-breaking 40 weeks. Every Monday they did every night they did a Hot 9 at 9. It was the number one for 40 weeks until finally, if I'm not mistaken, it was knocked out by Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams. Might have gone the other way around.
So it wasn't number one on a rap station. It was just number one.
It was my local
pop station,
hot music station. Yeah, when I was 10, 11.
My stations growing up didn't mix musical genres at all. It was always just there was the rap station, there was the rock station.
Okay.
There was the bullshit pop dance station.
My big the big Hot 9 at 9 station. It would go from Loser by Beck. Would be a huge song for a while, and then it would go into more like a TLC type thing. It was pretty all over the map.
That's jerking me around too much.
Yeah,
that's jerking me around
I like
too
a lot
much.
of variety. I'm sorry.
I don't dislike it, but I don't need it every other song.
I understand.
Here's the reason we're doing the Babadook today. Number one, it's considered a new classic, I would say, in the horror.
It is.
field. Number two, it's a very well reviewed and recognized film. And most importantly, number three, it's a cool 90 minutes.
Yep.
So we're getting right in there. We were going to do The Evil Within, which was recommended to us by our still friend and ex-producer, Ken Hanley. But we were having problems with Amazon Prime streaming and whatever. So here we are now back on Netflix doing the old Babadook.
And we have both seen the Babadook. I saw it when it came out and liked it quite a bit, although wasn't passionate about it. And Joe, it seems like you did not like it.
No, I think it's a good film. I think it's very well crafted, but I didn't like it. I don't like any of these. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen this. I don't like any of these movies where in the end it's like, it was just all in her head. I'm never a fan when that's the explanation of everything.
You like it to actually be a Babadook from another realm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the goddamn movie's called The Babadook. Like, make the fucking thing a thing that's real. Make it.
Is Babadook an actual thing, like a leprechaun, or was it invented for this movie? Like, is there a legend of Babadook?
No, I think it's. I think it's made up for the film. I don't know. If you feel like looking it up, I can look it up. Hold on. I got my phone. Oh, I have my computer right here.
All right.
Let me look it up. History of the Babadook. But my money is on that it was made up for this film.
Yeah, because it's a children's book, so they probably made it up. That's true.
Yeah, like she gets the mysterious children's book on her porch.
Right.
And then it turns out she just wrote it.
Right.
Which, I mean...
I keep hearing good things about Annabelle Creation. Maybe we should go see that and talk about it.
I would very much like to see that. It's supposed to be great.
People I really like were saying on Facebook and such that it's like unbearably scary.
Really?
Yeah. I never saw Annabelle.
It sucks.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've heard it sucks.
Yeah, the original Annabelle it's got its moments, but overall it's not good. But I think what I'm hearing is they did with this what they did with Ouija Origin of Evil, which was
the movie part 2 colon
right.
Origin of Evil.
They kind of learned from the mistakes of the first one and said, okay, let's do a prequel and make this right.
I tell you, folks, they say there's no original ideas in Hollywood, but we got an origin story for a board game.
Yeah.
Just 1 year ago.
The Babadook. Now, here's an article that came up. The Babadook is a frightening, fabulous new gay icon.
What?
Yeah, what is it? This is from the New Yorker. Fierce, perhaps, the greatest compliment that Twitter's gay conglomerate could ever confer is as apt an adjective as any for the internet's unlikely new queer icon, the Babadook.
I think on RuPaul's Drag Race, one of the drag queens was like a Babadook inspired, but it was post-movie Babadook.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's not like the director of the Babadook was inspired by RuPaul's Drag Race.
So they're not saying the actual demon.
No. Is a gay icon. No.
All right. That makes a little more sense.
No. Folks, to kind of timestamp this week's episode, and I know how much you all love when we get into politics here, but we are kind of in that sweet spot between maybe heading into nuclear war in the next week, but also maybe returning to the time of the Nazis.
Who knows?
But it will be probably one or the other. I do want to say this, folks. If you are a Trump supporter at this point, and I wouldn't have always said this in the beginning, although, let's be honest, I kind of would have. You are a racist. You are supporting racism if you support Donald Trump. That's simply true. The man has been asked point blank, do you renounce the KKK? And he refuses to answer the question. So
has that actually happened? That's true.
Joe, I can show you several videos where people are like, Mr. Trump, though, surely you don't support white supremacy and the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
And he refuses to answer the question.
Oh, boy.
He's like, I don't know what that is. I'll look into what these groups are and I'll get back to you.
Oh, boy.
And then yesterday they're all asking him and he pretends like he can't get out of a room, essentially.
Oh, boy.
But he won't answer the question because he knows that his bread is kind of buttered by these types of people.
Oh, boy.
So before, in the early days, you could have said, hey, I like Donald Trump because of money or jobs or whatever it is. And you would have been wrong there too. But there was a lot of anger like, hey, we're not racist just because we support Donald Trump. Now, however, you are. So you have to make that decision. and I'd like you to make it quickly because it seems as though we're headed for an end of the world type scenario. It's enough.
I mean, we're flying closer to the sun than I thought we would,
and quicker than I thought.
Yeah,
we would.
yeah. It's a bit of a messy situation.
A car drives into people who are protesting Nazis, and Donald Trump goes, "Hey, there's people are full of hate on many sides here."
Well, I hear this was my takeaway from that, and you'll disagree with this.
Now, step lightly, Joe. What do you got?
No. I'm going to step lightly. When he said there's hatred on many sides, I interpreted that as him saying, "Look, there are many groups that are doing terrible things, and we need to stop that." Because there's Antifa on the left. I think that's the name of it, right? The far hardcore left organization.
That isn't what he meant, though. And he said,
that's that. My point is,
he said this isn't about Donald Trump or Barack Obama. No one thinks this is about Barack Obama. That's how he starts his speech.
Hold on, he didn't say it that clearly. He went like this. He just goes, "It's been going on a long time. Not Donald Trump, not Barack Obama." It didn't even make sense.
No, it didn't.
He just was saying words.
Yeah, and that's how he kicked it off. But
so anyway,
I'll tell you what he didn't say at any point was, "I disapprove of Nazis and white supremacy," because he can't, and that's terrifying.
I think that in combination with what you're telling me now, that's very, very upsetting.
They look him right in the eye and he won't answer it.
But upon my initial review or just watching that, I was like, oh, he's just saying like there's a lot of hate groups and that's never good.
I get that. I think he won't lose one vote. Like he won't upset anyone who's like, if you supported him from the beginning, whatever you've ever done in your life, whether you're a Nazi or not, he loves you because you think he's the best and he agrees with you.
Now, what about the daughter came out and said, white supremacists and Nazis have no place here. Now, this is what upsets me a little bit. Instead of people saying to her, "Thank you, Ivanka. Thank you for hearing us. Thank you for saying something your dad wouldn't." Yeah. Everybody just takes this flippant like, "Hey, tell it to your father, dumbass."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how do we make any progress that way? You've got somebody on their team that's like trying to recognize and assimilate with what the opposition is saying, and then the opposition just like pisses on her. And it's
I hadn't seen it that way, but I do agree with what you're saying. She is at least trying to differentiate herself from her father, but at the same time, all these Republican senators and such who are like, "Hey, I don't agree with this." There's an element of covering their ass to it as well.
Sure.
She's married to Jared Kushner,
right?
The man. If anyone's ever looked like a Nazi. He screams Nazi. She's covering her ass because she's hot and she can work forever because she's a hot blonde.
Oh boy.
She'll go to Fox News and do whatever she needs to do.
Yeah.
But Ivanka keeps trying to play it on both sides, like she's real progressive and understanding, but she's not. And that's fine. But I agree that when she says, "Hey, I don't think Nazis are good," we shouldn't then say "fuck you."
Well, my friend Steve Byrne. Steve Byrne had a really great post on Instagram where he said it's uplifting to see people from all sides condemning what's right to condemn, and it was Ben Shapiro, who I'm not a fan of. It was Bernie Sanders. It was Obama. It was Bill O'Reilly or somebody like that.
Oof.
Like it wasn't. I don't think it was Bill. But my point is like he found people that you would say are extremely on one side or the other,
right? All
saying the same thing, which I thought was nice, and I thought was a moment of like, yeah, we need a little more of that. We need a little more of trying to hear one another, especially if we think our president is in any way a white supremacist or Nazi sympathizer.
He is,
So, but I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying.
Right.
We need to I'm saying if you even think there's an inkling of that,
right?
Both sides need to be listening to one another a little more.
I agree.
It's just a mess of a time, folks. We're not here to talk politics.
No, we should get off it. No one's. I don't think has ever said I really enjoyed the political discourse on this week's episode.
Never, not once.
But I mean, to bury your head in the sand is not helpful either. But we're just trying to bring you some laughs, and we'll get off it.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of just feel checked out from people, but I've always felt checked out from people.
Sure, how could you not?
So I mean, that's what upsets me the greatest. I've had. And I'm saying this with all honesty, and this is for the people that are now saying that we're swinging too hard for one political team or not, because we're not. We're just recognizing bullshit and calling it. I've had equal fear of saying things publicly from both sides. I've had equal fear, and this is coming from somebody, by the way. Not that I ever like to just brag about my stripes. I've earned my stripes in this. I've been attacked by online mobs,
right,
of super hardcore conservative people that were trying to get me fired from gigs and whatever. So I've been down the fucking road. All right, and I still didn't say fuck Donald Trump when the election came around after experiencing something like that. So I feel like I'm pretty up the middle as you can get. And I just think it's a shame that people feel scared to voice their opinion because of backlash from either side. I think that sucks. And again, it's because nobody is talking, nobody's discussing, everybody's just attacking all the time. And when you do that, folks, you know better than the Babadook.
You know better than the goddamn Babadook. And that's what brings us back home.
I just Googled Jared Kushner, by the way, and surprisingly found out the hottest new gay icon.
Really?
Jared.
I mean, I could see it in a hate fuck scenario for sure.
I'm kidding.
Same with Ivanka. I mean, really, what more delicious hate fuck than Ivanka Trump? Because she is lovely. But she is so horrible as well.
She doesn't do it for me. She's too symmetrically hot.
Yeah, I get that.
When a girl's too perfectly hot, I'm not turned
Joe likes a
by
gal with a broken nose.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe missing one of the front teeth.
And between us folks, he likes giving her that broken nose, okay? But that's between them and the friends don't ask questions.
That's not true. I feel like I need to say that in this day and age.
That's true.
That's a joke.
Let me take us into Pat's movie corner because I feel like I've seen some things.
Real quick before you do, let's give an update on where we're at in the film.
Yeah.
Because we really have not paid any attention.
No.
At this point, it could be Porky's. I wouldn't even know. I haven't even been looking at the screen.
If it was Porky's, I wouldn't be talking.
But she has...
I'd be caught up in the plot of Porky's.
The mom has gotten the Babadook book.
The Babadook.
Yeah, and it is unfinished. The story's not complete. There's blank pages in it.
Yeah.
And then as the movie goes, the pages get filled in. She doesn't know how it's happening. So that's where we're at right now. She just pulled out a vibrator, and she's going to have vibrator sex.
It looks like a phone.
In the bed. Well, maybe she's got a huge vagina. I don't know.
Huge vagina!
Who the hell knows? That is a hell of a vibrator
buzzing.
Or maybe she's just got a truly, a great elasticity to her vagina.
Sure.
Where she can take in something that looks like an ivory tusk.
Her vagina is like the Blob. Just kind of, things kind of ooze into it.
And by that, we mean it eats men alive.
Oh, I've never seen the remake of the Blob. I own it.
I love it.
I own it. I haven't seen it, and I will watch it. Maybe we'll do it sometime soon.
Truly a great remake.
Written by Darabont, correct?
I believe so. And your boy Kevin Dillon is the star.
Kevin Dillon is not my boy, but yes.
You were big. He was your favorite Entourage member, right? I was a turtle man myself.
I mean, honestly, it's hard to pick. No one has less charisma than E.
Right.
No one is less engaging than E, except perhaps for Adrian Grenier.
Right.
At least Dylan brought something, which was the Joey from Friends ripoff dumbness.
Right.
He at least had a character. Turtle's character was he was slightly overweight, and they all called him fat. Then he got skinny, and then lost even that tiny thing that set him apart.
I'll tell you, man, and this is a hard shot across the bow at Grenier, however the hell you say his name.
Grenier.
I got nothing against the guy, but when you're that good looking, and you're on a show that was that popular, and you're not working, for as far as I can tell,
that's right.
You must really not be that great at acting. Right. I mean, that guy should have been a fucking movie star.
Right.
Looked like goddamn Marlon Brando.
I had a girl I dated for a bit years ago was a stand-in on Entourage, and all the guys on Entourage were so short that they had stand-ins that were female. So they were all just like super short.
Right.
Except for Dylan. So, and Piven as well, super short. So here are the stories I heard.
I met Piven once.
Yeah.
Yeah, smoking a big cigar and drinking brandy.
I met him once. That's him to a T.
Yeah.
I watched Grosse Point Blank this weekend, which I'll get to. And he's so great in that. I used to love him as a character actor, and then it just kind of went nuts.
It's too much when he's the main thing.
Yeah.
I want him as the pharmacist in Singles.
That's exactly right.
He's great in that.
Yeah.
You know, I want him as the fast talker in Judgment Night.
Yes. And I like him balding, because once he got those plugs, things started getting weird. But apparently Piven would come out of it, like every scene, the stand-ins like would have to kind of act it out like over and over, because Piven would walk out, point at extras, and say like he was in Motley Crue, and they would go in and blow him.
Oh.
They had all these hot female extras. And then
something.
Grenier, this is allegedly, folks, but you know.
Yeah, now you said to me tread lightly earlier. tread lightly here. You're potentially
allegedly.
All right.
Grenier, they were warned, Grenier is going to try to hook up with you, but beware, he only does it in the butt. And he stinks.
And he smells?
He has BO. I've heard this about Robert Pattinson as well. These are all Hollywood alleged rumors, folks. But come on.
God. I didn't know I was doing a podcast with Kathy Griffin over here.
Harvey Levin's in the couch this week. No, I generally don't do that, but Entourage, I think, did as much bad for our country as the alt-right is doing now, frankly.
It's look, and that's the sad thing about right now. Everybody's scratching their head going, how could this happen? How could this happen? I was talking to my friend Keith about it today. You fucking watched Jerry Springer.
Yep.
You watched reality TV. You watched Flavor of Love.
Yep.
You celebrated a culture that praised the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
And that left no decency or humanity or dignity to anybody in print or on television or whatever. This is what it led to. It led to this. Here we are. Here we are. It's a fucking sad truth, but here we are.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's you know, as much as it sucks, I'm like, yeah, you know, the country kind of fucking brought it on themselves, man.
Sure.
So anyway,
but what I've enjoyed about this time the most is just kind of an embrace of death, and if it comes, it comes.
I've always been a fan of the apocalypse. I always thought hitting the reset button would be nice. I would like to wake up every day and my only concern be, I got to go scavenge.
Sure.
I got to find dinner.
Sure.
I wouldn't mind if that was my only thing.
No,
let's get out of this bullshit rat race. It
simplifies your life immensely.
I wouldn't mind.
That's why I get Jeremiah Johnson. You ever see that movie? Robert Redford?
No.
You know, he goes out into the woods and he's like, I'm just going to live in the woods for a while.
Woody Harrelson did it, and he went to Hawaii and grew his own fruit.
Yeah.
And just was like, I'm just going to live here and grow my own food.
Sounds incredible.
I mean, what is this rat race we're doing? Like, he lived like the goddamn character he played in Planet of the Apes, like for real.
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. I just, you know, I wouldn't mind living in a culture where you could murder somebody.
I tell you, we're pretty close. Joe, you're white. You can murder whoever you want.
I'm not white.
You're close enough, Joe.
I pass, as they say.
You pass.
Which I find is
I can murder
a racist term. I find that's racist to say that. You pass. That's a racist thing to say.
No, not to mean that if you're not white, you fail. I mean, it means you pass.
No, but I mean,
white.
like, I remember in the 90s, there were those commercials on MTV where, like, it'd be like a black lady who was light-skinned, and she'd say, like, She's like, yeah, people come to me and go, well, you don't look black.
Right.
And she's like, what does that mean?
Right.
I feel like that's the same thing when somebody goes, well, you pass for white. It's like, yeah, that was considered really fucked up like 30 years ago.
All right.
You know? So
All right.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying, like,
All right,
I'm just
Joe.
making fun of the statement. But I wouldn't mind.
I mean, what do you check on a census?
Other.
Okay.
I always check other.
All right.
Fuck them. That's what I say.
You don't need to know. All right.
But I'd say I wouldn't mind a world where there's a tribe over there. We don't like them very much. You can kill them if you want to.
Sure. What is this tribe you're speaking of?
I'm just saying my tribe is my tribe, and then there's another tribe that maybe I don't like.
Okay.
Or a guy's a dickhead, or, trying to take my
I think
shit.
the tribe is another name for the Jewish people. Is why I'm asking you to clarify.
That's not what I'm saying.
I know you're not, but I'm asking you for your benefit to clarify.
I'm not. No, but I'm non-denominational tribe. I'm just saying.
Yes.
I'm saying in the apocalyptic world, when you break down into tribe living,
Right.
and
You're saying you want to kill the members of Tribe Called Quest, who I got to see live. They were fantastic. Just a couple weeks ago.
How much of the old stuff? How much of the new stuff? Give it to me, baby.
It was a very good mix. I think the new album hangs with the old. I mean, I love the new album.
The new album is, in my opinion, the true fourth album. I felt like the Love Movement and Beats, Rhymes, and Life had their moments, but sounded
I
like
like Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
It sounded, but it wasn't them to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't them. It sounded like a collection of stuff that they would have used on other albums.
Sure.
And the Love Movement, the same. I feel like that new album, to me, is the true fourth album. It's what should have came after Midnight Marauders.
It's really fantastic. I mean, like, it's so rare in this day and age now to get like that, oh my God, an album is releasing, I'm going to sit and listen to it. Like, I think of like the one great one I had recently was when the new Daft Punk came out and I was in Amsterdam and I like got stoned and listened to it in a bathtub when it came out.
I hate that album.
I love it.
I hate it.
Loved it and still love it. But
It's not a Daft Punk album. And then I found out why.
Okay.
And I'll ruin Daft Punk for you.
Go ahead.
So I found a YouTube video.
Allegedly.
No, this is true.
Okay.
This is absolutely true. I found a YouTube video that was like, basically like, here's why Daft Punk's not so great. And it would play the Daft Punk song, and then it would just play the song they sampled, and you would slowly start to realize, like, literally all they did was take like a good loop and just put a drum beat behind it.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden they come up with this new album. I like to get and I'm like, well, this doesn't sound like Daft Punk to me.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this? And then I find out, because they hired a guy, like a guitar player songwriter who's in the band. So they hired a ringer who essentially, and very obviously, in my opinion, wrote the goddamn album. And then
Who is this? Not you're talking about the guy from Chic?
Well, whoever that guy was, they
They
brought
had a
in.
bunch of guests and stuff, yeah.
No, but like if you look at the like liner notes for the actual songs, not like the featuring Julian Casablanca shit.
Right.
The real liner notes. They brought like another dude in to the fray, and like suddenly they have this whole new sound that's based on like live music versus samples. And it's like, well, why is that suddenly happening? Oh, this guy did it for you. So now you can play these things as you stand up there in your robot helmets.
Well,
and-
look,
and
it's my
shit
least
on
favorite
everybody
Daft
else.
Punk album, but I think as far as like pop music goes, it's great, and especially if you're stoned in a bathtub in Amsterdam.
Sure. Sure. I was
but-
just in Amsterdam.
I know you were.
Yeah.
But yeah, that big kind of like exciting record release thing, it happens so infrequently now, and especially where it's good. And I think that's not just because good music isn't coming out, but because we're just getting older and we care about less and less. But what band were we even talking about that got us on this subject?
Daft Punk.
Before Daft Punk. Oh, Tribe Called
Quest.
That was an album where it was like the night it came out, I like cranked it and was like, this is fucking great.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Yeah.
It's a great album. I would rank it amongst their best. I think it's actually better than Midnight Marauders. I'd put it quality wise next to the first two.
Yeah.
But I also think Midnight Marauders is a great record.
I also saw, folks, Missy Misdemeanor Elliott at FYF, which was absolutely fantastic.
Is she still going by Misdemeanor?
I don't think she said misdemeanor, but it's in some of the songs.
But you were yelling it. You were in the crowd.
Misdemeanor! Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's just because somebody was robbing me at the time, and I was yelling at a policeman. But it was
Very
awesome.
good, Walsh. Very good.
I was hoping Timbaland would come out. I was hoping Ludacris would come out. My favorite guest verse of all time is Ludacris on Gossip Folks, and not far behind is Ludacris on 1 Minute Man. We didn't get that, and there was a lot of periods of time where Missy would leave the stage for like 5 minutes. I think she has some health issues.
She does?
She's 46, which is I wasn't expecting.
Is she in good shape? Because she lost all that weight.
She's in great shape. She couldn't have been more delightful, more charming, more funny.
But what are her health issues?
She had amazing choreography. I'm going to look it up, but she had health issues because she would leave the stage and they'd show like clip packages of her career and stuff. And you'd be kind of like, this is an hour-long set, Missy. Like, we wanted to see you. But all in all, it was a great show.
So you're sick shaming her right now.
I'm not sick shaming. I'm going to look up what she had.
But this is
honestly, it was my highlight of the 3-day festival.
This is going to be the theme of this episode. Is just constantly reiterating and clarifying what we're actually saying.
Yeah. Well, you have to now. She has Graves' disease.
Oh, that's no good. That sucks.
Do you know what that is?
No, I just know it's not good.
I would hate to have my disease have the word grave in it. Graves' disease.
You've got the end is near syndrome.
Graves' disease happens. You've got a case of the headstones. Graves' disease happens when too much thyroid hormone is produced, a condition called hyperthyroidism. This higher thyroxine level can greatly increase your body's metabolic rate, which may affect weight, mood, and energy. Rapid heart rate, tremors, double vision, insomnia, enlarged breasts, muscle weakness.
Hey, hold on. Stop
anxiety.
Right there. I'll take it, Doc. Okay, but you won't like die from it, right?
President George H.W. Bush and First Lady Barbara Bush also suffer from Graves' disease. Maybe they got it at the same party. They all shared the same cake or something like that.
But you won't. It's not like you're going to die from it. It's
no,
just
I mean,
make your life
I just saw her perform
shitty.
live. She's fine, but I think it flares up at times. Sounds to me like a Lyme's or a Crohn's.
Crohn's. I think you can die from those, though.
Crohn's, I think, is a shitting disease, and Lyme's, I think, is a tick disease. I only know about it from the lady from the real world. I only know about Crohn's disease from the lady whose lawn I used to mow, who always talked to me about how she had Crohn's disease.
And she was on the Real World?
No, two different women.
I'm going to go back quick here to the film.
Yeah. I don't even remember this Barbie party.
Jesus Christ. No, I remember this part. It's not a Barbie party. It's a party for it's a birthday party for like a little girl.
Yeah. That
the kid is kind of friends with. And this is the scene where like all the other moms who are like well put together, and this mom is like run ragged. Like that's part of the idea of the character. She's there all disheveled, and then all the other moms are kind of being like, "Oh, what's up with your weird kid?" Like this is like when she's like, "Oh, I have nobody in this world except my child, and my child kind of hates me." He also does walk around in part of the movie with a sequins gold cape on, which I don't quite understand why. And they might have explained it, and we talked right over the goddamn thing. But
I mean, from my experience with kids, a lot of them just wear capes and shit sometimes. It's like they're kids.
This is a gold sequins cape.
Yeah.
It's very like James Brown. It's a very
Rip Taylor.
Yeah, it's an odd cape choice.
So let me take you into Pat's movie corner. Why don't you come on inside with me?
Yes.
I saw Atomic Blonde.
How was it?
With Charlize Theron. Well, it's essentially 12 music videos end to end. It has an incredible soundtrack featuring some of my favorite music: New Order, Depeche Mode, Bowie, Queen, etc.
Okay.
It's the soundtrack is impeccable.
Okay.
The action is fun. It's very John Wickish, but with a lady.
Okay.
And I love John Wick.
All right. That sounds good.
And I was entertained throughout. And still I have to give you a but, folks. It's not good.
Well, neither is John Wick. That's what I was saying.
Neither is John Wick.
John's not a good movie. It's just fun to watch.
John Wick's kind of like a trash classic. Atomic Blonde was along the lines of a John Wick 2. It was very entertaining. And it was basically just Charlize Theron beating the shit out of people with an amazing soundtrack, which is enough for me these days. And there was an amazing lesbian sex scene between Charlize and some other woman.
Really?
That I just absolutely loved.
And that's why you Pat was arrested for jagging off in the movie theater.
I wasn't the guy who jagged off in the Emoji Movie, but I did in Atomic Blonde.
Yeah. What else have you seen?
When I say jagged off, I mean I was watching an episode of the David James Elliott maritime drama Jag on my phone.
Right.
While I watched. You remember Jag?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. I never watched it.
Terrible show.
When you're done, I have a...
How about that David James Elliott pull? If ever there was an argument against the effects of weed, that I just pulled that David James Elliott played Jag.
I have... when you're done, I'm going to read this list because I want to...
When I'm done?
When you're done talking about your movies that you've seen.
Oh, what is your list?
I'll tell you when you're done. Do your thing first.
Atomic Blonde was fun. This Babadook kid's really screaming.
And his mom is... As the kid is screaming, the mom is screaming, just be normal at him.
The Onion AV Club, which is a site I always enjoy. Sometimes their TV reviews drive me insane because they'll say a middling episode of such and such or a substandard episode of such and such, and they give it an A-.
Right.
And it shouldn't upset me, but it does. They have like blinders on for certain shows. Sometimes these are bad shows, and they won't back off.
The
of
AV Club is all that's kept me in Twin Peaks at this point.
Okay.
Because they keep giving good reviews to the episodes.
Yeah, they're really great at that recap shit, but sometimes, man, like what they decide to give everything an A to drives me insane. But that's neither here nor there. They just released, because it's the 20th anniversary, and lists always do huge on these sites, the 20th anniversary of 1997, they did their top 20 movies of 97.
Mm-hmm.
On this list, much to my shock, frankly, and much to the commenter's shock, was number 1, Jackie Brown.
Oh, that's great.
And it honestly made me a little mad because I think of that as kind of my own personal movie. We've talked about it on the show many times. That and like an About Schmidt are ones that I hold very dear. A Simple Plan, as like the world hasn't caught on. So to give it a number 1, I appreciated it. But they also had on the list as number 2, Face Off.
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
So I've always loved Face Off, but I hadn't seen it in 10 years. And last night I was like, they're going to call this number 2? Like, let me watch this thing.
That is a fucking insult to Jackie Brown.
I'm halfway through Face Off, and of course I'm loving it because it's undeniably entertaining, but it's real stupid.
Yeah. Take
real
his
stupid.
face off.
I will say Travolta is awesome in it.
Yeah.
And Cage is unhinged in it.
Great.
But Travolta does a perfect Cage, and Cage does Travolta just as insane as he's been doing Cage. He does everything insane in the movie.
Right.
And that's not right, Nick. It's not right. You can't always be insane, even though I love you. But I'm halfway through it and loving it, but number 2 seems excessive. They put also Boogie Nights at number 4. I mean, what are we doing here?
You know,
Boogie
you're
Nights
making me mad
even be
now.
higher.
You're making me mad now. No, Boogie Nights should be 2.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I saw... Oh, also on this list at like number 18 was Grosse Pointe Blank. Another like big favorite of mine through the years. Mm-hmm. Watch that again. It holds up incredibly well. You talk about an amazing soundtrack as well.
My dream project is to remake that film with Joan Cusack.
She's in it. She's great in it.
But I want to make her the lead.
I would watch that.
Yeah. I want to remake every John Cusack movie with Joan Cusack as the lead.
All right.
I want to see her holding that boombox up on the lawn.
Do it up. Grosse Pointe Blank, you've seen it, I assume.
No.
Seriously?
I never saw it.
You would love it.
Why?
Because it's good.
We're
going to do a Simple Plan, Grosse Pointe Blank double feature at my house.
All right.
You'll be pacing by the end of it.
I want to see. I do want to see A Simple Plan. Grosse Pointe Blank, I don't not want to see it. I just kind of don't care.
It's so great, and what this viewing showed me that I had not really noticed before was how amazing Dan Aykroyd is in Grosse Pointe Blank.
You're not reeling me in any closer with the
He
sentence
plays
like
his nemesis in the Hitman world, and he's fucking great in the movie.
All right, okay.
There's no way you don't like Grosse Pointe Blank, and there's certainly no way you don't like Simple Plan. That's a guarantee.
All right, I believe you.
It's.
I'm just saying a great sales line isn't. You got to see Dan Aykroyd in this movie. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I love Dan Aykroyd, but
I used to.
It's his best performance, other than maybe like a Blues Brothers that I've ever seen.
Ghostbusters is his best.
Sure. All right.
The original, yeah.
How hard is it to get blown by a ghost?
No, but he's. I really believe when I watched the first Ghostbusters, I really believe he is that guy.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I agree.
This is a smart nerd that's excited about ghosts.
He's great.
There
Only nominated once for Driving Miss Daisy, where he was not great.
He's in Driving Miss Daisy.
He plays her son.
Nominated for an Oscar?
Yeah. He had like a giant ass at the time. Like he was like super heavy, but it all went to his ass.
Yeah.
And he's in like pleated khakis with suspenders.
Yeah,
so he looks like a house.
He looks like Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah, exactly.
What did he?
And then he's kind of like thinner by Grosse Pointe Blank.
What is the thing in that? He's like the racist son that doesn't approve of Morgan Freeman or something like that?
He's a little more understanding than most, but I gotta tell you, I watched Driving Miss Daisy when I was 9 or something, and of course I liked it. But it always got kind of a bad rap because it beat like Do the Right Thing and significantly better films,
right?
About racism. Like Do the Right Thing is for me like a top 5 of all time. But I watched Driving Miss Daisy on a plane. It's good.
I'm sure it's good.
I really enjoyed it. It was a really sweet movie. Like there's just something I liked about it.
Sure.
And folks, another hilarious podcast called Hollywood Handbook. I've been on it twice, but if you look up my first appearance, I discuss in depth, and it's made up, of course, how when I was 9 years old, I directed a remake of Driving Miss Daisy for the Hallmark Hall of Fame production company on CBS, and it starred Candy Bergen and Ken Griffey Jr., and I described the plot at length. And that show forces you in like immediately out of your comfort zone into like heavy improv.
Right.
And I was really happy with it at the end. I just kind of started pitching this movie, and I was happy with it. Sometimes improv goes to a place where you hope no one ever hears it. That's one instance I hope you hear it.
When I did,
and it's a funny podcast. My buddies Sean Clements and Hayes Davenport, who are two of the funniest guys in the world.
When I did Doug Benson's Pitch Off show,
yeah,
which is a show where you have to go in and pitch. He pretends to be a movie exec, and you have to pitch him movies.
Yes.
The final pitch is he gives you like, he's like, we just got a call. Here's what you got. You got a motorcycle. You got Sam Elliott. You got Chris. God damn it, my brain anymore. Jesus Christ, the guy from Rush Hour,
Chris Tucker, and so go. You got 5 minutes. Come up with a pitch. So I pitched that they remake Mask.
Oh
yeah, I think you've told me about that.
Chris Tucker as the kid.
Right, I'd watch that.
Yeah, and he just keeps yelling at Sam Elliott. Man, look at my big ass head. What the hell's wrong with you?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my big ass head? They're doing.
It's a good idea.
I saw a trailer not long ago. They're doing a movie that's basically Mask with the kid from Room.
Yeah, with the kid
and Julia Roberts.
Yeah, it looks.
I don't
terrible.
know what disease he has, but
I saw the trailer in the theater before. Dig this: Pirates of the Caribbean 6 or whatever whatever what we were up to. It didn't really match.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Owen Wilson is the dad. I just want to see the face of my son.
Yeah,
you know.
Is that a crime?
Which the movie looks terrible. It looks like the sappiest fucking thing of all time.
A little rough. Yeah.
And then there's the line where the kid goes, "It takes a lot of work to look this good," and like runs his hand through his hair. It looks terrible. I feel bad for I don't feel bad for the kid because he's not a real kid. He doesn't really have that thing.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel bad for a kid that does have that condition, but the movie looks like dog shit.
I hear you.
Yeah, it looks bad.
other than that, I've watched most of this new season of the Netflix drama Ozark. I'm really enjoying it. I used to spend every summer at the Lake of the Ozarks when my dad would lose his job right before we all were supposed to go to Disney World. Then we would cancel the vacation and go to the Lake of the Ozarks. This happened like 3 different times.
Very sad.
But I was like, this doesn't look like the Ozarks I remember. And the people playing the hillbillies in it are the weakest link because they're clearly L.A. douchebags playing hillbillies.
Right.
It's not like that true, scary hillbilly vibe. That's my only grievance about the show. I think Bateman is awesome in it, and I think it's well written. But I kept thinking, like, boy, this doesn't really capture the Ozarks. And I look it up. They filmed almost none of it at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Well, of course they didn't.
The show's called Ozark, but it just drives me nuts.
Well, but it's never that. They film New York. Toronto is New York all the time.
Yeah, they always go. Everything's in Toronto now.
I was on a plane. What did I see? Well, first of all, I watched some W.C. Fields films.
Sure. You got a favorite we don't know about?
I really enjoyed most of what I've watched on this W.C. Fields Comedy Favorites collection that I bought, but I really enjoyed The Bank Dick most. Because
Bank Dick is incredible. That's the classic.
Yeah, that's toward the end of his life.
That was my dad's favorite.
Really overweight.
Yeah.
He's just a goddamn drunk through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't have a doubt in my mind that he's actually drinking through the entire production.
They surround him with annoying kids, annoying dogs.
Yeah. There's a magnificent scene at the top of The Bank Dick where he comes down from his bedroom. He's up there like smoking and drinking or whatever. And his 6-year-old daughter stomps on his foot.
Yeah.
And he turns and punches her in the skull. And then she throws like a vase at him, and it hits him like in the nape of the neck. And he goes outside and picks up a potted plant. Like it's literally so big it would murder the child.
Yeah.
And he's going to throw it on her head.
I remember the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't you dare strike that child.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
You couldn't do it now. You couldn't.
No.
Do it.
So I saw that. I loved it. I've watched a few of these W.C. Fields films over the last whatever, and I've enjoyed them. I watched.
Like Easy Money is a very W.C. Fields type.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Easy Money is my favorite Dangerfield movie.
Really?
Hands down.
Now,
what would you put above it?
I do like Easy Money. Don't get me wrong. Caddyshack is the best use of Dangerfield.
But that's not a Dangerfield movie. He's in it. That's not his movie, though.
To me, it's his movie. I love everybody in that movie.
Well, yeah, that movie's awesome.
I mean, the dude for Ted Knight, for Christ's sake, in Caddyshack.
Ted Knight is
unbelievable.
Is magnificent.
Unbelievable. I don't even know if he ever did another movie.
Apparently he hated Dangerfield in real life, and like Dangerfield like put him in headlocks and stuff. Yeah.
But I would take Back to School over Easy Money, very slightly.
I would accept the argument.
Very slightly.
I like Easy Money better.
Yeah.
But when I was watching The Bank Dick, I was like, my God, like this is the Dangerfield movie.
Right.
The mother-in-law hates him.
Yeah. Yeah.
She thinks he's reformed at the end, but he's not. He's still a scumbag. I watched The Disappointments Room.
Now, what's that? I've heard the name.
Horror movie with Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
Well, Pat, let me tell you, I felt like The Disappointments Room was my living room. I did not like it. It was boring. I didn't like it.
Woo! Yep.
I didn't care for it.
Right.
I started watching The Boy. It started really.
What is it about? Tell me anything about The Disappointments Room.
Oh.
Why did you watch?
Here's what it is. It's a horror movie. It's about Kate Beckinsale and her husband and kid. They move into this house.
Okay.
Like this old Victorian house, as always.
Yep.
There's a room she can't find the key for. It's locked. It's up in the attic, whatever. She finally gets it open. She starts seeing like these sort of like ghostly visions of like these 18th century people in there.
Okay.
She doesn't know what's going on. Luckily, there's a town historian that can explain everything to her.
Who portrayed the town historian?
Some old
CCH
lady.
Pounder?
No, some old. Yeah, for once, it was not it wasn't a black lady for once. So it was. it was some old lady, and then she's like, "You have a disappointments room," and Kate Beckinsale's like, "What is that?" She's like, in the 1890s or whatever the fuck it is, they would send if they had a kid that they were embarrassed by because it was deformed or something, they put it in the disappointments room. They'd lock it away in there.
Okay.
So basically, any kid that had any abnormality, they put it in there. But here's the thing: because the movie is so scared to actually depict what kids they really would have put into this room,
right?
Which unfortunately would be like kids with like mental retardation and stuff like that. Every kid in the history book that she reads has a giant growth on his face. That's every kid. So apparently there's this.
I mean, that is disappointing.
There's this huge just rush of kids with giant tumor faces being born. They're all putting them into this room.
Goiters.
Yeah, and so
Boy, it sounds great.
So a kid was in the disappointments room and he died, and by the hands of the evil father. Dig this.
All right.
Guess who plays the evil father?
Yes.
Major Dad. I'm not going to be scared
Gerald
of
McRaney?
Yeah, I'm not scared of Major Dad.
No.
It's Major Dad.
Yeah.
So, which, by the way, where the hell did they find him?
Can I tell you something?
What?
Well, there's always these weird connections in this show, but in that lengthy improv I did about this Driving Miss Daisy project, it involves major arguments because at the time I allude to a romantic entanglement with Delta Burke, and then it led to a lot of fighting with her husband, Gerald McRaney,
right,
on the set.
Okay.
Crazy.
Who has the romantic entanglement with her?
Me. I was age 9.
Oh, at age 9.
And Delta Burke. And then Gerald McRaney wants to shut it down because he loves her. It's his wife, obviously.
I see. All right, I got it.
Crazy. He was also great on Deadwood, McRaney.
Oh, so he was on that. All right. I hadn't seen him since Major Dad. I didn't know what the hell he's been doing.
He's really good on Deadwood.
All right.
And he's in not Game of Thrones, House of Cards.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
He's working, maybe.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I also started to watch The Boy. Again, the same goddamn fucking plot. It's like a lady goes to a Victorian house to be a babysitter.
Yes.
The boy is a doll, but he's not real. But then he is real. I just got bored. I shut it off. I got to be honest. I just didn't care enough to finish it. But here's what I really wanted to talk about during Pat's Movie Corner. It was an airplane to Amsterdam, 10.5-hour flight. Mm-hmm. Free entertainment, as you know. You get a little video monitor. You get all the movies you can watch.
Sure.
I was so excited. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to watch some movies.
Beautiful.
It's a late afternoon
you drinking?
Flight. Yeah, I'm going to have a few double scotches.
Okay. All right.
Drinks were free. I'm going to watch some flicks. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there were a few good movies on there that I had already seen because they were nominated for Oscars and I got screeners or whatever.
Okay.
Aside from the obvious hits.
Yeah.
Let me I couldn't wait to read you this selection. This shit show they provided on this fucking flight.
All right.
Latest and recent. These are the movies in latest and recent.
Go on.
Chips.
I would have watched Chips on a plane. Absolutely.
I would.
I'll watch anything on a plane.
Chips. Boss Baby.
Would not have watched Boss Baby on a plane.
The Space Between Us.
With, what's that?
No idea.
Space
A lot of these I don't know what they are.
The Space Between. Like that Dave Matthews song?
No idea. The Zookeeper's Wife.
What's that?
No idea.
Is that a sequel to the Kevin James Zookeeper?
Nope.
Okay.
A Dog's Purpose.
Oh, that trailer looked hilarious. That's like about a dog who saves soldiers in Iraq.
No. Dog's Purpose is the one where the dog keeps dying and coming back.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Allied, which is the only Robert Zemeckis movie I've never heard of.
Allied's pretty good.
All right.
I liked it a lot, actually.
Dancer, which was a documentary about, quote, the bad boy of ballet, end quote.
Well, let me stop you right there because I'm the bad boy of ballet and nobody contacted me.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Where to fuck them, yeah. Didn't like it.
No, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Didn't like it.
Fist Fight.
We talked about it on here. I would have watched Fist Fight on a plane.
Oh,
Charlie
I tried
Day,
to
Ice
watch
Cube.
it.
No good.
It is terrible.
Okay. All right.
Inferno. Tried to watch that.
Oh, I never would have watched Inferno.
Tried to watch it.
Not
Terrible.
even on a plane. No. That's the Da Vinci Code 3?
Yeah.
I watched 1 and 2. Those movies are fucking dog shit, and they're 2.5 hours each.
Jack Reacher, Never Look Back.
I love the original Jack Reacher. I would have watched that on a plane.
The sequel is terrible.
Jack's sequel.
Passengers.
Passengers I couldn't finish.
Silence.
Silence, I saw it in a theater or I would have left. I would not finish it at home.
Why him?
Silence is maybe Scorsese's worst. It's terrible.
Why him?
Why him? I did watch on a plane.
I started it. I couldn't finish it. It has moments that are funny, but you don't care.
It simmers at like a C. It's like right at a C the whole time and doesn't really get much better, but it did pass the time on a plane. Why him is Cranston.
Last but not least, Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage.
Never even saw the original Triple X.
Me neither. Or the sequel.
No.
Now, here's my favorite.
Is it Diesel or Cube?
The third one is Diesel, because that's why it's called The Return of Xander Cage. Okay, here's my favorite. These films were referred to as The Collection. And then when you looked at what the description of the collection was, golden oldies and modern masterpieces. So I think, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Avatar. Go fuck yourself.
Come on, I hate Avatar.
Body of Lies.
By the way, they just announced for the next 4 Avatars.
Yeah.
It's going to have the same villain who's that guy with the white hair.
Yeah, it's dog shit.
I don't think I'm going to see the other Avatars.
I'm definitely not. But I am excited. Cameron going back to the Terminator franchise. Schwarzenegger coming back, doing the story where he is the actual human that they use to make the Terminators. I'm excited about that.
All right.
Body of Lies. The only DiCaprio movie besides The Beach that I don't give a shit about.
Oh, with Russell Crowe?
I think so.
That movie sucks.
Joy.
Joy, the story about the woman who invented the mop.
Yes.
Which killed my project about a woman who was inventing the mop that I had been working on for years. And I was livid.
Ready for this?
Yes.
The Chance. I know you've never heard of it.
Zac Efron?
Nope. That's a movie starring James Corden as a Britain's Got Talent contestant.
Oh, no.
This is a modern masterpiece, it was referred to.
Wow, I don't like James Corden. I once wrote a bunch of jokes for James Corden because I wrote for something called the Airbnb Awards.
Oh my god!
And it was presented to me. Hey, we're in a bind. We need funny jokes. I was like, no. What if we told you can ask for any amount of money you want? I was like, okay, I'll do it.
All right.
But I was writing jokes about Airbnb.
Oh my god!
For James Corden.
Yeah. Side Effects.
The Soderbergh movie.
Yeah.
Side Effects is all right.
Modern masterpiece?
No, not at all. Contagion is a modern masterpiece.
Source Code.
That's Gyllenhaal.
Can't even remember.
Terrible movie. It's immediately forgettable.
The Best of Me.
Never heard of it.
Me neither.
What is The Best of Me?
Well, this next one's a doozy.
Go
I don't
on.
know. I don't remember what it was.
Right.
The Internship.
Is that? Oh, that's not De Niro. And I like the De Niro intern. This is
Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson.
That movie's terrible. Yeah, the movie's terrible.
Tried watching it. I was like, all right.
The Intern with De Niro, by the way, perfect plane movie. Very entertaining. Kind of sweet.
The Judge. Bob Duvall. Robert Downey Jr.
is on the lower level of acceptable airplane fare, but I would watch it on an airplane. It was a bad movie.
I turned it on because our boy Krumholtz, the lady next to me was watching it. I saw the Krumholtz was in it. I was like, let me turn it on for Krumholtz. I was enjoying it,
right.
But in the sappiest. It's not a good movie.
No,
it's very.
It's the kind of thing that passes like if you see it with your dad when you're 12 or something.
Yeah,
but
and
it's
Robert
not very good.
Downey Jr. It's essentially he's Iron Man except as a lawyer.
Yeah.
There's actually a scene. He makes out with a 22-year-old bartender.
Yeah.
And his brothers are like, this idiot, what's he doing? Then later he finds out the bartender is the daughter of the girl that he's in love with in the town that he went to high school with.
Right.
Then it cuts to him hooking up with the mom. And he's acting like kind of weird. She's like, what? And he's like, I just want you to know, like, I don't want a commitment. I'm leaving after this. She's like, when you're ready, whatever, you call me. And she walks out. And then he goes to himself, plus I hooked up with your daughter. And you're not supposed to at all think like, well, that's kind of gross, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I know you didn't know.
I got The Judge as an Academy Award screener.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. By the way, folks, if I can do a quick pause, speaking of Bobby Duvall, I rewatched he won Best Actor for it, but you want to talk about a great fucking performance in a great fucking movie. Tender Mercies. You ever see that movie?
No.
God, it's great. It's like Crazy Heart was ripping off Tender Mercies. He plays a recovering alcoholic country singer who's just like trying to get his shit in order but can't. It's so fucking good. I watched it recently. Also, Duvall's probably 55 in it. At some point, Ellen Barkin comes in and she's 18. Mm-hmm. Ellen Barkin at 18, and like I gasped. I could not believe how hot she was.
Daddy.
She's hot at 65.
Yeah.
You know? I audibly gasped when I was watching it, and I Wikipedia'd Tender Mercies because I loved it so much, and I learned that on the set, Duvall and Barkin dated. And I was like, I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to pretend that I didn't see it. Another fantastic Duvall movie that was mentioned on this Best of 97 list, saw it in theaters at the time, The Apostle. Great fucking movie. Great fucking movie.
Now, here's my other question about the judge. Vince D'Onofrio's in it.
Yes.
Why has he been reduced to now only playing the angry older brother and everything?
He also plays insane people. Like, he was in Magnificent Seven as, like, the crazy guy, which he does a lot, too.
Last two flicks. The King's Speech. Good movie, but who gives a shit? I just don't care.
Very average movie.
And
One
finally,
Best Picture.
Finally, in their modern masterpieces and golden oldies collection, The Other Woman. The Other Woman.
Which is it? A modern masterpiece or a golden oldie?
It's absurd.
That's the one with Leslie Mann, right?
Like Ava, not Ava Longoria. What's her name? That goes
Big Jugs. Kate Upton. Cammie Diaz and Kate Upton.
No. What's her face plays the mistress though. The girl that plays Will Ferrell's wife in The Other Guys. The like ridiculously hot lady.
Eva Mendes.
Ava Mendes. Yeah, I almost said Ava Longoria.
What's The Other Woman? What am I?
It's like the thing where like it's like fucking what's her face from Sleepless in Seattle?
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan's like husband or something.
It's like doing a podcast with my dad.
Is cheating with Ava Longoria or something.
No, The Other Woman is Cammie Diaz. I was right.
Right.
Leslie Mann and Kate Upton.
And then who's the other woman?
That's the three of them, Joe. Like I was right on all counts. What are you talking about?
What's the one with
Eva Mendes isn't
with
in it?
Meg Ryan and Ava Mendes where like the husband's fucking Ava Mendes and they're like, we're going to get revenge.
Well, the plot you're describing is The Other Woman, but the actresses are not.
Hold on, I'll look it up.
You're talking about The Women.
No.
The Women has Eva Mendes and Meg Ryan.
Yes, and the husband's fucking Eva Mendes in it.
Well, that's The Women.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
I haven't seen The Women.
And it wasn't even as good as The Women because it was just a lesser cast.
Okay.
And a derivative plot as far as I can tell.
Okay.
So there you go. These were the flicks I was stuck with. And I chose to drink and sleep.
Sometimes you have to.
You know? Now
Joe, could you, because I don't know where we are time-wise, why don't you take us into Joe's Scary Stuff? Do you have something?
I do. It's just sort of an update on something I was talking about last week or last episode. But the Namco Classics finally came out for the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
And it does include, finally, for the first time ever, a true arcade port of Slaughterhouse, which, in my opinion, is really the horror game that started it all. So that is very, very, very much worth checking out. You should get your hands on that if you're a horror fan. It's a lot of fun. It's a pretty wild game. It's a pretty dark game. And I like it. It's just really good stuff.
Are you killing people or zombies?
No, you're a regular guy whose girlfriend gets kidnapped into this haunted house.
Okay.
And then you put on this like haunted mask that turns you into like basically Jason Voorhees, and then you go through the haunted house and kill like these demons.
Okay.
But there's all kinds of weapons you pick up, like a 2x4 and stuff, and whenever you hit one of these things, they splatter against the wall, basically. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Go check that out. I'm trying to think if I have anything else for scary stuff.
I have one, and as usual, I don't know if it fits the topic or not.
Oh, wait. I do have a new one, though.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. I'll just go fuck myself.
No, you do yours. Waxwork Records just put out the Creepshow 2 soundtrack on vinyl. Gorgeous. It's really just an amazing production of this thing.
Is it songs or score?
It's the score.
By whom?
I don't know who did the score, but
is it good?
It's got its moments, but I would say as a horror fan or as a fan of Creepshow 2, it's something every fan should own.
You just said like the cover's so nice, is what you're talking about.
It's an impeccably done.
Can I see it?
Cardboard fold. I don't have it yet.
Oh.
I just have looked at pictures of it, but it's gorgeous.
Right.
It's got an insert in between because it's double vinyl, so it's got an insert on the inside, like of a comic booky sort of depiction of some of the Creepshow events. And then the vinyl is themed. So there's an old Chief Woodenhead vinyl that is blue and brown to match Chief Woodenhead's colors. And I chose the Raft theme, which is based on the Raft story, which is a clear vinyl with a big black blob on it.
Right.
Very, very cool shit, man. Very, very cool shit. They did a really nice job.
Okay.
So there you go. There's the scary stuff for you.
Okay. And you can tell me after if this counts for scary stuff. I love the new Queens of the Stone Age song, which is called The Evil Has Landed.
Okay.
And it's about 6.5 minutes. And it starts out kind of like psychedelic, crazy. Then by the end, it's like almost like punk, like their old shit, super fast, like a rated R type cut.
Okay.
For Queens of Stone Age. It's like 3 songs in one. It's incredible. The Evil Has Landed.
All right.
And then to make it even more like scary stuff, I'm going to recommend Monster in Your Parasol by Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay.
And Burn the Witch by Queens of the Stone Age. You got evil, a monster, and a witch. Does this count for Joe's scary stuff?
Well, yeah, it's horror-themed stuff that isn't a review of a movie.
Folks, I finally did it.
You finally did it.
But it's a great single. I'm very excited to see them here at Cal Jam in October.
I like the first single off the new record.
I thought it was good, but not great.
When's the record come out?
It comes out in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
But to me, they can do no wrong.
I'm
very excited to hear it.
I'm excited for it. Now, Pat, if I can suggest, why don't you take the helm and give the people a blow-by-blow where we're at in the film while I freshen up our beverages?
Oh, thank you. Can you tell me time-wise where we're at in the film?
God only knows. These goddamn movie ones are just marathons.
She's preparing him a delicious dessert, it looks like.
Yeah, the kid has now sunk into some sort of, he looks insane at this point.
Yeah.
I can't pull the time up for some reason.
That's fine.
But we're about an hour 7 into the recording, so I think there's only about 20 minutes left.
Okay. Yeah, folks, Joe has to go into a period of not drinking for a full month. Yeah. Very shortly, like starting Tuesday. And I haven't told Joe this. I'm going to tell him now live on the air. I'm going to do it myself.
Oh, good.
I'm under a period of extreme stress, and I find myself turning to, alcohol. Not excessively by any means, but just as a way to unwind. And I'd like to kind of find another means at the end of each day. Not each day, but, it gets very stressful, and it's a good way to kind of like, okay, now I'll relax, but I want to try to find another means. So I think we're both going to take a week off of drinking. The podcast might get very boring and intellectual. That's fine. Going on in the Babadook now, I mean, the kid is gone. I remember finding this movie very spooky, kind of some good jump scares, and interesting, but I'd still keep it at about a B level. I mean, I don't understand the people that found it to be one of the best horror movies ever. I see it on a lot of those lists, and disagree. I want to tell you, looking down the line, folks, I work at Warner Brothers, and I'm doing my damnedest to get me and Joe into a screening of It, and I think I'll be able to do it, but one thing I can guarantee is that we will be doing an It episode on this show because I think we're going to see it together. So be sure you see that. I've been almost caught up on the audiobook, which is endless. It's like 48 hours long, but I wanted to listen to it again before I saw the new movie. And if I did all this work and the movie is equal to like what that Poltergeist remake was, I'm going to be very upset. I hope it's good. That's all I can say. What else is going on? You know?
What's happening in the film right now?
In the film, she's hugging some man. She's breathing heavily, as the subtitles tell me. I will say, I've never been a Game of Thrones guy. That's a fantasy show that fits into this podcast. And what finally helped me was the subtitles. This year I turned them on. I don't know if it's a significantly better season, although it certainly seems that way because it's about to end. The episodes have been super action-packed, particularly the last couple. But watching it with subtitles has helped me so much because I've learned I just don't have a brain for that fantasy stuff. I can't go with it. I don't understand it. I don't know what anybody's saying. I don't know who anybody is. But this has been a good season of Game of Thrones.
I've never watched the show.
I mean, are you a big Lord of the Rings guy?
No.
You're not. I
I like them. I like them.
Yeah. You might like it.
You
might
them.
like it.
I don't know, but
yeah,
they're fine. I just there was I always thought Game of Thrones looked cool, but I always was like bummed that there wasn't more magic stuff in it.
Okay.
Like the magic stuff.
There's some magic.
There is some, but I want it more. I want it like crazy fantasy shit, and it's not that.
Sure.
So, but speaking of Stephen King and it, I think it was Bloody Disgusting said that they saw a full scene from the movie.
Okay.
And they said that the kid nails Pennywise.
Okay.
They said he's fucking on it. Like, it's great. I also have heard from a few people that have seen it or seen parts of it that it is very scary, that it is very psychologically scary. It is over 2 hours, which was something we discussed.
That's great. And I know I spent a lot of time complaining about time. I don't mind a long movie if it deserves to be long. You can't do a 1,000-page book. It's like the fucking Dark Tower is 80 minutes or something.
Well, the Dark Tower, I think that
You should do the Dark Tower probably, but
I think it is probably going to be the Wonder Woman of Stephen King movies this year.
Okay.
Meaning nothing's getting good reviews. The Mist series did not get a great review.
Right.
Mr. Mercedes is getting trashed already.
I've seen Mr. Mercedes get pretty good reviews. I watched the first half of it. By the way, you want to talk about, I don't even know if they're going to keep airing this thing. Mr. Mercedes, I had not read the book yet. I own it. It starts with a mentally disturbed man driving his car into a big crowd of people, killing them. That's exactly what happened this weekend. And nobody has linked them up. The first episode aired on Thursday. This incident happened on Saturday.
What is it airing on? The billboards say like AT&T.com presents.
Randomly, because I do DirecTV, I have it. It's the Audience Network, which usually shows these pretentious black and white interviews.
Well, so
the pilot seemed good. I like Brendan
right.
Gleeson.
Well, then I do too. Then it's mixed reviews. Because
Okay.
I've seen some really harsh reviews. The Dark Tower got fucking trashed. So I think that it seems to be the one thing that they're. And then the guy just said he wants to do Pet Sematary next.
Yeah,
Which,
man, Pet Sematary is due for a remake, and honestly, so was it, because a CBS miniseries is not going to be the proper telling of it.
Well,
I just wish it wasn't the mama guy, unless this is where he's like, You've underestimated me. I'm going to show you how I do it.
Look, that last trailer I thought was great. Like,
yeah, it was.
I thought it was fucking scary.
Yeah.
It got me. The trailer got me a couple times.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be way less jump scary in the actual film and way more atmospheric. I also like, too, that they've all very adamantly been saying, like, look, this is not a remake of the miniseries. This is an adaptation of the book.
Right.
So I think it'll be good. I also like, too, they're talking about how, like, there's a lot of moments in the film where Pennywise does something weird just because it's disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll just do a weird thing because it's off-putting. Like, that to me is what just happened in the Babadook. She just pulled a tooth out?
Yeah.
Why'd she pull her tooth out? Why the hell did she pull her tooth out? This is what happens when you don't pay attention.
I don't remember. It's a big thing in horror, though. Stir of Echoes had a great tooth pull-out.
I just sold Stir of Echoes. I
love that movie.
Oh, man. Should I have kept it?
You hadn't seen it?
No. I didn't think it looked good.
Stir of Echoes is fucking great.
I just sold it unwrapped to Amoeba.
I own it. I mean, you can still watch it.
It's good? I just thought it was going to be like Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland. When I was like, yeah,
no.
Fine,
it came out
passable.
like the week after Sixth Sense is the only reason it got buried because it was kind of similar. But I fucking loved it in the theater. I had seen it a couple times, and I watched it with Heather last Halloween, and it's one of her favorite scary movies. To me, it's one of mine.
What's it about?
It's really, really good. It's one of those where you don't even really want to say much about it.
All right.
But they just do a real good job of giving you like really likable, good people and putting them in pretty believable, scary situations.
Okay.
It's based on a Richard Matheson story. He's a great
it is?
horror writer. Yeah.
I love Richard Matheson.
And it's David Koepp, who wrote like Jurassic Park. And
It is?
yeah, it's a great movie.
God damn it.
I haven't seen the sequels, but it's very good.
Why did I get rid of that?
I don't know, Joe.
I just made an assumption. I was just like, yeah, this is going to be just like another one of these, like, I know what you did last summer kind of things.
No. It's really good, really scary.
Son of a bitch bastard.
What'd you get for it? $1?
About that.
You can get it on Amazon probably for $2 if you want.
About that. We're at the part now in the Babadook where the mom has become fully evil. And she's saying terrible things to her child, like, I wish it was you and not your father that died. You're a little baby. You're 6 years old. You still wet yourself. So now we're in the phase of the film where the mom and the Babadook are one. She also told me she wants to make his brains pop out.
This woman is a great actress. She was great in this movie.
Yeah, she is.
This is good.
No, she's good. She's very good. Yeah, this is where like you realize like, oh, she's crazy,
right?
And she's got the kids, trapped in the house, and kid just shot her with a dart. Now,
yeah,
the kid's good in this too.
The kid is good.
This kid is good.
This kid is good. Watched Hannah and Her Sisters.
My favorite film of all time.
It's fantastic.
I love it.
Is the 8-year-old Asian girl in the film Sun-Yi?
Probably.
She is, right?
That
adds a real element to it. Because she keeps popping up in it, and you're like, "Ooh, boy, this is weird." Woody Allen looks easily 55, 60.
I don't know if she... Hold on, let me see.
I'd almost guarantee it.
I would think so, though. I mean, it's Mia Farrow and Woody Allen.
There's like a maybe 9-year-old Asian girl in it.
Where? Who's the 8? I don't even remember.
And also, then Woody Allen is writing at an SNL-type show with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yes.
And the first sketch, they're like, you can't air this. And he's like, why not? It's about child molestation. Everyone's doing child molestation these days. And it's like, wow, this is weird and uncomfortable.
Hold on a second. This is why Mia and...
Sun-Yi Prev.
I don't think it's her.
It almost has to, unless he just was doing it so close to his life.
Several Farrell's children are in the film, including Sun-Yi.
Oh, that's really uncomfortable. That really brings it all home. Yeah, he's 55, 60. She's 9.
I don't think he was 60. Look, it doesn't matter.
Hannah and Her Sisters?
He could have been 20. She was 9. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Let me see how old he was. 1935. That movie came out in 85. So he was 50.
Yeah, 50. Yeah.
Not great. Not great.
But there is no great age with 9, is my point.
That's true.
There is no 9 appropriate age.
He's 81 now. Joe, can you tell me what Woody Allen's actual name is?
I used to know this. It's like
Alan Stewart Konigsberg.
Yeah. I love that film. It's got a young John Turturro.
It's really
in it.
Great. It does have a young John Turturro and a young Richard
with
Jenkins.
My script.
Yeah.
Richard Jenkins. But the great line is, they said you can't name names in the child molestation sketch. And he goes, we don't name names. All we said was the Pope.
Right.
Which, and that movie predates the Catholic scandal.
That's true.
Which is interesting.
There's some great dark jokes in that movie. It's a very good movie.
It's an incredibly insightful film. The reason it's my favorite movie is because I've never seen a movie that has better captured my own internal dialogue.
Yes.
Or monologue, excuse me.
Michael Caine's great in that movie.
Several of the characters say things where I go, I've said that to myself. I get it. Like when Woody Allen says, you're not going to die. You're surrounded by people in restaurants. Like,
yes.
It's a very, very
You're surrounded by people in restaurants.
And it's got great jokes. It
does. And you prefer it to Crimes and Misdemeanors.
It's my favorite film of all time.
Yeah, clearly. But you do love Crimes and Misdemeanors.
I love it. It's not in my top 10, but I love it.
Loaned it to a coworker 3 years ago. I said, I'm never getting this back. Am I? Went to get it off the shelf last night and realized I never got it back.
Folks.
You can't loan anything out anymore.
Folks.
You're giving it away.
The mom is now laughing in a distorted man
He's tied her up.
voice.
I think we're getting to the end. The sun in here just got so blinding I can't even open my eyes.
Oh, I think you meant the sun in the movie.
No, the sun out the window.
Oh, this is heartbreaking. The kid's got the mom tied up. He's saying, I'll always love you. Always will. And that somehow is...
Will always love you.
He's telling her you got to get the Babadook out. And she's trying to choke him to death now.
Joe, did you have imaginary friends as a child?
Now the kid looks like the demon to the mom.
Right.
Did I have imaginary friends as a child?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty simple question.
I think I did at one point. Maybe one.
I don't think I did.
I wasn't even popular with my imaginary friends. I think I had one, maybe, but I don't. I certainly wasn't like hardcore into it.
Did you have a blanket?
No. Like a favorite blanket? No.
Yeah. I had a blanket that I called a roo for some reason. I was never given an explanation for that.
No, because you're a disgrace.
And my parents eventually pretended they accidentally threw it away because I was getting to be like 11.
Come on, buddy.
And they pretended they accidentally threw it away, and I found out much later that they just threw it away.
Yeah, every kid's
the excuse was fake.
Blanket has a weird nickname he's given it. Like
Wubby.
Yeah, that's from Mr. Mom.
Right.
My whoopee.
Right.
Maybe it's time we put the whoopee down.
Yeah. But that kid was 5, and I was in my early 40s.
Yeah, 11 is...
Yeah.
I mean, that's fingering age.
Not for me, baby.
You're right there.
Unless we're talking about old Uncle Greg. I don't have an Uncle Greg, and he didn't finger me, folks. Sometimes we just do dark jokes to get through the day.
Uncle Greg. That is a terrible uncle name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
We are now at the part in the film where...
she just puked bile and blood on herself.
She threw up blood all over herself. She's saying you can't get rid of the Babadook. She just levitated the kid magically up the stairs. She's now chasing after... No, I guess the Babadook took the kid.
He Baba took him.
Oh, Jesus. Baba shook.
You! Baba shook me on.
Babadook. Now the bed's bouncing up and down.
Sounds like a Saturday night at my place.
When's the last time you had sex, Pat?
Last time I had sex was last night.
That's nice. Good to see you kids still have the fire.
We still do.
I like to see
Putting out fire with gasoline. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I hear you, dude.
Joe, when's the last time you had sex?
It's been a while. I haven't had sex in a while.
Okay.
Oh, definitely over a month, maybe 2 months.
All right.
It's been a little while.
Okay.
You know? It doesn't help that every time I'm on a first date with a girl, I say, hey, baby, my cock is hungry. I don't think that helps me get closer to getting laid.
Why don't you feed it for me? Lighting a cigarette.
Or sometimes I'll go, baby, penis is pussy hungry.
Oh no!
Like that, in like that baby voice, I'll do it.
Like Frank Booth in Blue Velvet. Yeah, baby wants to fuck.
I watched Blue Velvet the other night.
It is the best.
It's great. But I was watching it, and it's one of those movies where if you live in an apartment like I do, you're constantly riding that volume button because you're like, my neighbors must be like, what the fuck is going on in there?
Fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's why Pabst Blue Ribbon is popular to this day, is that movie.
Your boy Kyle MacLachlan in it. And then I tried to watch Dune again. I can't stay awake to the goddamn film.
I can't do Dune. Can't do Dune.
I can't get through
I watched
the
A Bronx Tale again the other night.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it since I was, 15. It's good. It's not great.
It's got cheesy parts, but I like it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's pretty Goodfellas ripoff kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very Scorsese, with the way that he uses the music and everything, and but I do like.
I've been
movie.
chomping my gum so aggressively. I'm worried this podcast is going to be unlistenable.
I haven't even noticed, to be honest with you.
That's good.
But it's I like A Bronx Tale. I particularly like the. There are just some great Chaz Palminteri parts in it. And I actually think there's some great life philosophies in the film.
Right.
When he says, when Cosmo, what's the kid's name? Cosmo, I think. Right?
No.
Isn't it Cosmo?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Carmine. I'll look
No. It's like, his name's like...
You're thinking of Kramer.
His name's like Colusio, and they call him like Cos or something.
I'll look it up.
Well, anyway... When he's bitching about the kid that owes him $10,
yeah,
and he's like, he keeps ducking me. He owes me money, and Chaz Palminteri goes, the guy's a bum. He's like, you paid $10 to have him out of your life, forever. There's just great philosophies like that in the movie.
There is. There's a lot of nice little one-liners.
Yeah, the thing where it's like you open your door for the girl, you open her door for her. And if she leans over and unlocks your door for you know she's like something special. Like it's just like really.
But
cool
now we all
moments.
have automatic locks, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, it is tough. It is tough. I didn't say that the film contained modern philosophies. I just said it contained good philosophies.
Correct. I liked it. I mean, sometimes something that really blew you away back in the day, you watch and you're like,
Well, when I was a kid, all I needed was an Italian actor and an old Supremes song playing in the background.
That's true. Me too.
That was enough
here
for me.
I rewatched Sleepers recently with Heather, and
fantastic.
She loved it. For me, it wasn't as great as it was in the day, but it was a really solid, really well-made movie with just a unbelievable cast. Bacon is killer in that movie.
That's a rough flick, dude.
It is. It is.
And Bacon nails the Pennsylvania accent.
Bacon is just fucking killer. I want to recommend something else, which is that
that memory says that with the gross Philly accent.
Yeah.
What do you want? A blow job. yeah, it's rough stuff.
Bacon is hilarious in the new Sandberg deal, the new HBO thing.
I want to see that. I haven't seen
Tour de Pharmacy. I love both of those, the tennis one and the biking one, but Bacon has some really funny shit in it.
Now, are you caught up on Twin Peaks?
Completely.
What are your thoughts?
I think the last two have been bad. The one 2 weeks ago was a true low point. When Audrey Horne comes back and is arguing with that dwarf for 45 minutes.
I like that one.
Oh, boy. If that episode didn't air, nothing would be different. You didn't learn anything from that.
I felt that about the last 5 episodes. That one, I was like, at least like they're bringing an old character back.
I had been loving it. I had really been loving it. And then, the week before, I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. What are we doing here?
I can't do this like in trance Dale Cooper thing anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's time to pop out.
And he's not learning anything.
Right.
He understands what coffee is, but he still doesn't know how to open the car door.
Yeah.
Like it's just like annoying. It's like this isn't fun to watch anymore.
Not hours on end, no.
I do enjoy the revelation, that the revelations that are happening with evil Dale Cooper. I think some of those are kind of cool. How Bob is like this immortal spirit or whatever. I think that's kind of neat. I do like that Audrey Horne's back in. I do like. I'm not buying at all that that Ashley Judd wants to fuck the 80-year-old father of whatever.
Yeah,
but I like that she's in it, and I like that he's in it too.
I mean, like that big discussion about like pie inventory with the waitress there, where it's like, look, I'm looking at the demographics. You're not selling the right amount of pie for your budget. If you use fresher ingredients, I mean, this scene goes on for 7-8 minutes.
Well, it's like
I have limits. I love David Lynch so much, but I have limits.
Well, that's what I was saying to you about the scene where the guy sweeps up for literally 5 minutes in front of Jacques.
For some reason, I hung in for that. But I do love your line about nobody wanted more Jacques.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and apparently that guy wasn't playing Jacques.
And I've been saying this for the last few weeks now. It's to a point now where it's unnecessarily confusing.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where it's like, I get it. You're a surrealist. There's absurdity. I get all that stuff. It gets to a point where it becomes unnecessarily confusing, and I'm like, I don't understand what's happening anymore because you're mentioning so many characters that I'm not seeing. You're having people play supposedly a different character than they played in the first show, yet they're doing the same job.
I mean, especially for a guy who I want to go with you on all this stuff, Mr. Lynch, but I don't remember anyone's name ever. Like, I mean, I spend every week kind of being like, what? And with Twin Peaks, I just want to be lost in the moment. The best scene they've done so far, for my money, was when there was that traffic accident and that woman was going insane honking.
Yes.
That fat woman. And then he goes over and he's like, what are you honking about? She starts screaming and screaming. That performance was so insane. That woman was so insane. I was like, this is amazing. And then when that weird sloth from Seven body thing next to her started puking up blood, I was like, this is one of the greatest scenes I think I've ever seen on television.
That was true Twin Peaks. And
amazing.
I also really love, I will say this, I love the turn of Bobby. I really like it.
Yes.
I like that
Bobby looks better.
He looks amazing, and I love that he's like now this straight-laced, like he's a guy that's redeemed himself. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that that they have the kid that's going through troubles, and like you see like the mistakes of their past and all that stuff. I think it's very cool.
And in kind of a true way that you never see, where like the guy who's an asshole in high school, ideally by the time he's 50 is not still an asshole.
Hopefully, you hope.
That new guy who's an asshole is terrifying, but we see so little of him, he doesn't register as a villain.
Yeah,
the guy who killed the big fat lady in her trailer.
And who I believe is Audrey's...
He didn't kill her because she's alive.
I believe that's Audrey Horne's son.
Okay.
I
mean, that guy, you're like, whoa, what a villain. What's going on with this guy? Yeah. And then he disappears for 8 weeks.
Well, look, all I can say is this. I'm hanging in.
I'm
disappointed, but I'm hanging in. I really hope that... I feel like there's going to be that moment where Cooper comes back. He's in the suit.
Yeah.
It's playing the music.
It should have happened by now.
And
it should have happened by now.
Well, I think there's still another 12 goddamn episodes.
I know.
It's too much. Lynch is like, I'm going to walk. You're not doing this right. It's like, well, because you want to jerk yourself off and just shoot 800 hours of footage.
Yeah.
Like, you guys could have done this in 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
I mean, there really is about an 8-episode chunk that just didn't have to exist.
Oh, Christ. That whole episode where it's just like, and we talked about this already, I think, but where it's just, I mean, it's kind of creepy, I guess, but it's like, I don't need to see 3-minute montages of like the inside of nuclear smoke.
Yeah.
It's like there weren't any characters in that episode except for...
That one, for whatever reason, just because it was unlike anything I've ever seen on television, that one worked for me.
Look, the idea, sure.
Yeah.
But it didn't move the show forward.
That's true.
I guess there's some connection to old nuclear testing now or something.
The Babadook just ended. Folks, I know kind of a running joke of these commentaries was that we never talked about the movie. This is as far as we've ever gone in terms of not talking about the movie. But I think if anything, it confirms that the Babadook was very overrated at the time of its release. It was unengaging to us in any way. I remember thinking it was kind of spooky, but maybe it's not as good as we all thought.
Yeah, I didn't care.
Love
That's
you
our
guys.
show.
Jody, got any plugs?
Yeah, San Francisco. I'll be headlining the Punchline the final weekend of August. That's the 30th through the 2nd of September, I believe. So that's happening. Check out the other podcast, Emotional Hangs, on Feral Audio. And in September, I will be at the Draft House in D.C. Doing some shows. So come on out for that stuff, folks. Oh, and the new Penthouse column.
Oh.
I think 1 or 2 have now been whatever, but my new Penthouse column, You Let Me Down, is so far so good, going strong. So pick up a copy of Penthouse and read it, digitally or hard copy.
Hard. I am on Twitter and Instagram at the Patrick Walsh. I don't really have any plugs in addition to that. But what's this music I'm hearing? Is it the Ice Cream Man?
Credits of this movie.
Oh.
Playing.
Okay.
The end credits, Pat.
I was confused because I'm looking at an ad for Brad Paisley's Comedy Rodeo.
Well, now it's playing the trailer for Brad Paisley's Comedy
Maybe
Rodeo.
next week for our horror segment, we'll do Brad Paisley's Comedy Rodeo.
And look, my friends are on this show, so God,
I don't blame any comic who wants to get a piece of that country comic money.
God bless my friends; they're good for them. But I don't think any human being has ever said, "You know what comedy needs is more Brad Paisley."
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Anyway,
guys, thank you very much. We will be back probably in 2 weeks from now. I guess we'll see you then, and we'll see you in hell.
That was a HeadGum podcast.